work behind the scenes. You can do things without ever letting anybody know. Especially in this modern age of computers.
That's right. On the internet, no one knows you're a dog.
Not only can you make anonymous blog posts and things, but there are ways you can participate with atheist groups kind of on the sly. One of the things that we've done recently is we put out a candidate questionnaire to everybody, every candidate that Texans would vote on in this past election. And it was brought to my attention that one way to encourage participation, because not everybody wants to be on the show, one way to encourage participation is to get people involved in things like writing press releases, stuffing envelopes, all the things that you can do kind of anonymously behind the scenes. So you can help participate in making a world that is easier for you to come out in.
Right.
Yep.
Talking about another holiday that just passed. Linnea and I went to a Hell House last week.
Uh-oh.
Wrote all about it on the blog, and Linnea actually wrote a longer, better post on her blog, everythingelseatheism.blogspot.com, that I encourage people to read. But to me, one of the more interesting parts of the trip was not going through the Hell House, which was largely the same as the first Hell House I went to, and you know, outrageous and annoying.
They've got a formula.
Yeah, they do have their formula. But it was meeting this guy behind us in line who, you know, from all outward appearances would seem to be a stereotypical Texan. He had, you know, a heavy accent. He was wearing a cowboy hat in line, and his kid's costume for Halloween was, you know, army fatigues with a little toy gun. And we got to talking with him, and he... You know, it turned out he was ex-army. He had some injuries, but he was also he had a law degree. He was using his GI Bill to go after a master's degree and hopefully a PhD.
Wow.
He turned out to be a very interesting and intelligent guy that we spent some fun time standing in line with, you know, I was encouraged a bit to be able to sort of make joking offhand references to some of the stuff they were trying to do in Hell House. I mean, you know, just sort of not really coming right out and saying, I'm an atheist and this is all crap, but just being able to make sort of humorous, dismissive statements about their mission and have him agree with that stuff. And one thing I do think is that it's important for atheists not necessarily to come out if it's going to be a danger to them, but to help subtly foster an atmosphere in which people are okay with not just genuflecting to religious messages and going along with whatever they say. Subtle, you know, subtle ridicule.
Yeah.
If the show goes downhill now, it's because we've been distracted by a kitty.
Yes, she's pointing her ass at my microphone.
Kitty cat has come in and leapt onto the table.
There she goes.
All right.
But everything's better with animals.
So among the good news, and this also relates to the coming out or being out as atheists, secular student organizations on campuses is on the rise.
Hooray.
Good organizations are on the rise.
Doing the sort of thing I just talked about.
But
soon we will have an iron boot.
The number of SSA affiliated organizations grew to 225 this year compared to 159 last year. And this has only been going on for a few years, so
That's significant.
Yeah, we're in the rapid rise category. By the way, I'm on the Speakers Bureau for Secular Student Alliance, and I'll pimp them out and encourage other groups, student groups, to affiliate with them. And I was doing this, you know, irrespective of being on the bureau, because I ran into last night. I was at the game store playing games, and out of the blue, somebody walked up and said, "Hey man, love your show." Just it happens.
Cool.
It happens, but it happens more often in places like that. And he goes to UT San Antonio and is active in their atheist group, and so we talked a little bit. And his group wasn't affiliated with Secular Student Alliance, and I don't think they were actually aware of it. So I let him know, you can do this affiliation. So we already know that when young people end up going off to college, the likelihood that they will abandon their previous indoctrinated religious beliefs is fairly high.
Yep, Christians, you are right to be paranoid.
Yes, because knowledge or your reason and faith are in fact enemies.
Yep.
So
Martin Luther figured out.
yeah, so yeah, the number of student groups is on the rise, and that's encouraging. By the way, I mentioned Dave Silverman a little while ago, who's the new president for American Atheist, and of course you've got Dan Barker as the head of the Freedom from Religion Foundation. Then you've got Sean Faircloth, who's the head of the Secular Coalition for America, and there are many others. And there's an article that came out in Ms. Magazine that basically accused atheists or the modern atheist groups of being sexist, because this is a club for old white men, or because you got Dawkins, Harris, Hitchens, etc. And they were basically asking, where's all the white women? But